Welcome to NACTV Reads the News. My name is Cathy McGrath, and I'm one of the many volunteers that help create programming for our station. NACTV can be seen on MTS Channel 30 or 1030, Westman Cable Channel 17, Bell Satellite Channel 592, or online at nactv.tv. These programs are made possible by our volunteers, staff, advertisers, as well as donations made by you, the viewers. If you are enjoying your NACTV experience, please consider supporting us by either donation or volunteering. You can contact our office at 204-476-2639 or at nactv@wcgwave.ca. Today's issue of the Neepawa Banner and Press is for Friday, May 12th, 2023. And on the very front, welcome to the Hall of Fame. Neepawa's Kelly Robertson rink inducted into Manitoba Curling Hall of Fame by Owen Devereaux. And pictured is Kelly and Yvonne Robertson celebrated the induction of the Robertson curling team into the Manitoba Curling Hall of Fame. Kelly's curling career spans several decades from local to world championship level. Kelly Robertson has added one more accolade to his already quite impressive curling legacy. Robertson's 2011 Canadian Senior Men's Curling Championship team, which included Doug Armour, Peter Prokovich, and Bob Scales, have officially been inducted into the Manitoba Curling Hall of Fame. The ceremony welcoming them, as well as the rest of the class of 2023, was held in Brandon on Sunday, May 7th. Other notable teams honored on this night included Ray Orr of Minnedosa, the 2009 Canadian Masters champions, Doug Armour, Souris, the 2005 Canadian Masters champions, Joyce McDougall, Brandon, the 2011 Canadian Masters champions, and Martin Bailey, Heather, 2004 Canadian Masters champions. Robertson's resume is worthy of the Curling Hall of Fame. Team Robertson gradually came together over the course of a few years between 2008 and 2011. Competing out of the Neepawa Curling Club, the quartet quickly established themselves as a dominant squad, winning the Manitoba Senior Men's Championship in 2011, 2012, and 2014. They also reached the provincial final in 2013. In an interview with the Banner and Press, Robertson noted that it was a great run of success for them. We were able to put something together there for those few years. We just had a good chemistry out there, noted Robertson. The provincial success followed them to the national stage at the Canadian Senior Championships. In 2011, Team Manitoba finished the round robin with an 11-1 record. They followed that up by sweeping through the playoff on their way to a 7-5 win over Alberta in final. In the World Championship in 2012, Team Robertson was also Team Canada, representing our nation against the very best. The squad proved to be up to the challenge with an undefeated record up until the final, where they were finally upended by Ireland 6-5. It truly was a showdown of the elites in senior curling, as these two clubs were the only unbeaten teams at that year's event. Robertson's team would make one more impressive run to the Canadian Seniors Championship in 2014, finishing second to Nova Scotia that year. Honored by the acknowledgement, while that 4-year stretch was something special for Kelly Robertson, it was never something he thought about as Hall of Fame worthy. So, when he received the call from the Manitoba Curling Hall of Fame, he was humbled by the acknowledgement. It was kind of hard to believe at first that we were put in this category of being worthy of the Hall of Fame. When you start playing a sport, any type of sport, you're just doing it for the love of the game and not from any accolades, said Robertson. But the older that you get, the more you appreciate this type of acknowledgement, how it's going to be for the grandkids and further on down the line. As for the ceremony itself, Robertson said it was great to catch up with not only his teammates, but also many other clubs and players he has encountered over the years. He noted that there was something extra special about this year's class, having so many from Western Manitoba being recognized. It was pretty special. There were a lot of old acquaintances there, and as well the other inductees, I know them all. The curling community is a tight-knit one, so going into the hall, it was already something special. But going in with this group, and as well having the ceremony in Brandon, adds something to the whole thing. Robertson closed his conversation with the Banner and Press by noting he also feels an intense pride in being able to represent Manitoba through the sport of curling in such a positive way. It's a special thing, but I never even thought about it. That is never why I curled. I just loved the game, and it just happened that we did pretty good at it. It's nice that this, perhaps in some way, helps put Neepawa a little bit on the map, so to say, because now there's a Neepawa team in the Hall of Fame. Along with his conversation with the Banner and Press, Robertson also sat down with Lyle Watson on NACTV's Coffee Chat. That full interview will appear on NACTV on May 15th at 8 p.m., May 18th at 5:30 p.m., and May 20th at 7:30 p.m. And pictured above on the left, the front page of the Neepawa Press from March 30th, 2011, showcasing Team Robertson's win at the National Senior Curling Championship. The above photo, a picture of Kelly Robertson out on the ice in the early 80s. His career, while always based out of Neepawa, has seen him cover many miles across Canada and around the world. And featured at the bottom from left to right, Bob Scales, Peter Prokovich, Doug Armour, and Kelly Robertson, the newest inductees into the Manitoba Curling Hall of Fame. And the show at Arts Forward, Soul of the Prairies, found at Arts Forward. And pictured are a number of the pictures from the artist Cathy Martin. The Soul of the Prairies can be found in Art Forward's exhibit for the month of May, titled Prairie Soul. The exhibit features the works of artist Cathy Martin, who hopes to bring awareness to the awe-instilling beauty of this flyover province. Martin's work showcases a variety of scenes, weather and season, as can be experienced here in Manitoba prairies. Some even include paintings of memories that were originally photographs, such as the painting featured directly above this text. An event centered on this exhibit will take place at Arts Forward in Neepawa on May 26th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Those who attend will have the opportunity to enjoy live music and to purchase either a painting or a painting print via auction. The auction will also be available online. And looking back, 1973, old-time industry comes to Arden, and pictured is a sawmill that was busy at Arden making lumber out of poplar logs from the nearby bush in 1973. At the right is a rack on which the lumber was placed by the sawyers until it was taken away to be piled for drying. At the left, a table where logs ready for the mill were placed by a front-end loader. In the middle, the machine makes out a number of logs. 125 years ago, 1898, Mayor Davidson, B.R. Hamilton, and D. Wilson went to the city on Monday to attend a meeting of the Neepawa Gold Mining Company. Members of the Minnetonka Town Council are to visit Neepawa tomorrow to witness a test of our fire extinguishing apparatus. Adney Graham is getting stone on the ground for the foundation of a residence to be erected on the corner of 2nd and Mill Streets, 2 blocks west of the Presbyterian Church. About a dozen residences are now under construction in Neepawa. Many of them will be of very substantial nature and occupied by the owners, but a few, unfortunately, are of ramshackle kind intended for rental. 100 years ago, 1923, it's beginning to dawn upon the Canadian Parliament that the removal of the British embargo on Canadian cattle is not going to be much benefit unless Canadians ship a superior grade. Officialdom in Britain has enormous pull. 75 years ago, 1948, Neepawa was well represented on the prize list at the Gladstone Musical Festival held last week. Betty Thompson was awarded highest marks in the piano solo class, and first place in the grade 6 piano class. Murray Christie was second in the grade 6 class. Betty Kerr won in the grade 1 piano class. The successful young musicians are pupils of G. Diath. 50 years ago, 1973. In 1969, Edson Industries Neepawa Limited was on the verge of bankruptcy. At that time, the Neepawa Area Development Corporation had loaned to the previous owner the sum of $50,000. In September 1969, it appeared that none of the loan would be paid back and that several other creditors would not get paid. The Manitoba Department of Industry and Commerce approached us, Mars, to see if we were interested in purchasing the firm. We did purchase the shares and immediately guaranteed the Neepawa Area Development Corporation and paid off all the other creditors in full. Note, this excerpt was taken from a letter written by Erickson Industries, Neepawa Limited President W.A. Marr. A number of years ago, the small sawing outfit employing from 7 to a dozen men making rough lumber out of the trees in the nearby woods was a common sight on the beautiful plains, especially near the mountains. But to see such a mill busy making lumber from the poplar logs that have been gathered from the nearby bush today is such an unusual sight. 8 men have been busy since the middle of January cutting good-sized poplar logs from the nearby Boughton bush and the Arnold Susky bush, formerly E.B. Patterson, and the Vernon Merkin bush. This is an ongoing program for the next 2 years. 20 years ago, 2003, a former Neepawa woman is recipient of the commemorative medal for the Queen's Golden Jubilee in recognition of long-time community service. Dorothy Lewandowski of Calgary is a Benedictine sister who has taught school for 31 years. She currently teaches religious studies at Bishop O'Byrne High School. She is the daughter of Kay and the late Stanley Lewandowski of Neepawa. The province has agreed to supply portable classroom for Carberry Collegiate students after mold was discovered in the school's roof. But Beautiful Plains Superintendent Ray Dirksen said portable classrooms can only be considered a short-term solution. He said the school needs to be replaced, a request the division made to the Public Schools Finance Board long before the mold was discovered. Disclaimer: the information gathered and used each week in Looking Back feature is directly taken from the original print copy of the Neepawa Press and Neepawa Banner newspapers. Any errors or omissions from the stories, factual or otherwise, are the result of the original print and not the responsibility of the archivist for the current version of the Neepawa Banner and Press. In the very bottom corner here is a picture, Fiddler on the Roof. If you're looking for entertainment in May of 1973, the Roxy Theatre had Fiddler on the Roof provided as an option. And moving on, Home Buddies by Rita Friesen. I was glad, very glad. These words are part of a clappy chorus created from the words of the first verse of Psalm 122. I was glad when they said unto me, let us go to the house of the Lord. It was Sunday morning, and as is my custom, I was attending a worship service, this time in my home church. The signs of spring were already gladdening my heart, and as we stepped into the building, my heart was filled with so many emotions. The people had gathered. There was coffee and smile cookies and a lovely heartwarming conversations flowing as individuals sat on the welcoming padded chairs or stood in groups catching up, being present. One asked me how I was doing, and with a grin and more than a bit of truth, I replied, with coffee in one hand and chocolate chip cookie in the other, and surrounded by friends, could not be better. But the morning got better. As part of the morning worship service included a baby baptism, and she was so cute, never objecting to the warm water touching her head, nor the warm oil used to mark her forehead with the sacred sign of the cross. She smiled at all of us as she was introduced to her faith family, and then, for me, the momentum swelled. It was the Sunday after the coronation of King Charles III. No secret here, I am a royalist. I am not a Jets fan, nor Leaf fan, not even a Blue Jays fan. I am a fan of the royal family. Have been since early childhood, collecting scrapbook clippings and mountains of magazines about the late Queen and her family. We stood to sing God Save the King, followed by O Canada. Now my heart was full to overflowing. This land of ours is glorious. Yes, we have areas that need improvement. So do I. I never take for granted the fact that I awake to peace and quiet. No bombs exploding or fires raging. God keep our land. And then, as we departed the church building, the bells rang out. I love the sound of church bells. I love how they remind us to stop and listen, to stop and hear the melody. And for another moment, be raised above ourselves. All of my life, I've been part of a faith family. In my very early years, it was the Kane Mennonite Church, of which my grandfather was a co-founder. I have pages with stickers recording my attendance at Sunday school. A family moved to Graysville, and I worshipped at either the Grayville or Carmen Mennonite churches, interchangeable. Other moves and personal growth saw me at the Pentecostal church and in a community church. I skipped around a lot. I am thankful for the learning experience in each and every one of them. For the past 25 years, the Neepawa United, now the Neepawa United Anglican Shared Ministries, has been my heart's home. On a Sunday morning, as is my custom, I attend a worship service. The chorus rings clear. I was glad, very glad. And what do we have? Thumbs up and thumbs down. A huge thumbs up to all the volunteers who helped give their time and efforts to help out with cleaning up the streets and public areas of Gladstone. Special thanks to Mrs. Smith and the WMCI students. And a huge thumbs down to those who can't make the effort to dispose of their litter in a garbage or recycle bin, and also to those whose cats and dogs are allowed to roam free and use our sidewalks and parks as a litter box. And both of those are from Linda Crooks of Gladstone. And glory years, a 1930s birthday. These individuals gathered for a birthday party in approximately 1930. This photo was featured in a Chapter 8 of the Gladstone's Glory Years booklet series. Picture by J.K. McLennan on the occasion of his daughter's birthday. Those in the photo are Jack Broadfoot, Mitchell Hanna, Jack Rose, Lauren McLeod, Jerry Farney, Jack Smith, Phyllis Robinson, Lorraine Thompson, Madeline Farney, Lorraine McLeod, Florence Birch, and Victorian McLennan. And Neepawa hires new company to handle cemetery database by Owen Devereaux. A new software company will be taking over the establishment of Neepawa's interactive cemetery database. Council has approved their bid from Webb Cemetery to integrate the technology at the Riverside Cemetery. The software would assist visitors in locating certain grave sites on the grounds. Webb Cemetery was one of 4 companies that put in a tender proposal for the project. Their winning bid was $14,768 American for the initial setup, and then an annual service maintenance charge of $3,588. Last year, Neepawa had decided to partner with a different company, Central Square Technologies, on the database. Town administration were recently informed, however, by the US-based company that they would be unable to fulfill the software and services requirements. Partnering with the Webb Cemetery will save the town of Neepawa around $1,300 in its initial investment. And an exact timeline for the interactive cemetery database is to be up and operational was not disclosed during the council meeting, though it is expected to proceed as quickly as possible. Neepawa passes a new budget, includes 1.5% increase to property tax levy by Owen Devereaux. The 2023 financial plan for the town of Neepawa has been approved. On Tuesday, May 2nd, Council gave second and third reading to the document, which allocates $19,292,396 towards the general operating fund and $8,065,660 to the utility operating fund. Compared to last year's budget, that's an increase in spending of just over $2.3 million more towards the general fund, but $731,700 less for utility. The largest new investment within the budget is going towards transportation services, as it has increased from $6.1 million to $11.2 million. The reason for the increase is connected to road upgrades and installation, primarily focused on the land surrounding the town's new hospital. The mill rate for the year has been set at 22.39, an increase of 0.33 mil compared to 2022. The mill rate is a figure representing the amount per thousand of the assessed value of the property, which is used to calculate the amount of property tax. This year's increase in taxes for residential and commercial property owners is slightly less than what was seen in 2022, as last year's municipal levy increased by 1.57%. And Rosedale revealed budget details by the Banner staff. The rural municipality of Rosedale has released the details to its financial plan for 2023. Council went over the preliminary budget at a public hearing at the Beautiful Plains County Courthouse in Neepawa on Friday, May 5th. This year's document sees a proposed budget of $3,049,358 being considered to cover the general operating fund. That's an increase from the $2,162,232 initially budgeted for last year's basic expenditures and the $2,516,432 in actual spending. The RM's projected mill rate for the year has been set at 11.081, an increase of around 3.5% overall. The mill rate is a figure representing the amount per thousand of the assessed value of the property, which is used to calculate the amount of property tax. From a financial standpoint, this means that the average property owner will pay $1,108 per 100,000 of their assessed property value. After the numbers were presented, there were several RM ratepayers who commented on the document and asked for clarification on a few items. The first speaker expressed concern related to some recent changes in the budget numbers, citing an addition of $500,000 to the final proposal. The CAO noted that the revised financial estimates are due to working off of auditors' financial statement, which were not accessible during the initial deliberations on the numbers. Another RM resident spoke and asked about spending related to the purchase of a fire department pumper truck and whether it was a 2022 or 2023 budget expenditure. That purchase is listed in the 2023 numbers, as the RM only recently received possession of the vehicle. The total cost of the pumper truck purchase in the 2023 document is $90,000. The CAO reviewed that capital expenditure as well as others, with the most notable of those including a motor grader, $415,000, Road 84th North construction, $122,000, and landfill upgrades, $90,000. There are 12 total capital expenditures listed at a combined cost of $940,000. $530,000 of that cost will be borne by the general fund and $410,000 by the reserves. Another question brought up was related to the amount that's been set aside for legal services for the RM, as the person asked if that number shouldn't be higher. The RM could not comment on whether or not that particular budget line should be more this year. A few final comments were raised connected to the recent dismissal of the Public Works Supervisor. Council stated it cannot comment on dismissals as it is confidential, though one council member did indicate that it was not a unanimous decision. Watershed District's GROW programs grow support farmers and tackle climate change by Wayne Hildebrand. Climate change experts warn our weather is going to become more unpredictable and volatile. This could seriously challenge Manitoba's weather-dependent agricultural industry. Manitoba will face earlier and more severe changes to our climate than many other parts of the world. Climate change predictions suggest we will see warmer and wetter winters and longer, warmer, and drier summers. Precipitation is likely to vary more from year to year. Extreme weather, such as heat waves, droughts, floods, and more intense storms, will become more common. How will agricultural producers prepare for, cope with, and recover from extreme weather events? Are programs and funding available to help farmers to prepare for the negative impacts of climate change? Yes, they are, said Megan Porath, Grow Trust Associate with Manitoba Habitat Heritage Corporation. The Growing Outcomes in Watersheds, the GROW program, is part of Manitoba's Climate and Green Plan. The province of Manitoba endowed $202 million in trust funds with the Winnipeg Foundation that annually generates more than $10 million for program delivery. Manitoba's watershed districts deliver GROW programs across the province. On-farm sustainable land use. GROW program funding supports on-farm sustainable land use practices that provide ecological goods and services that help store carbon and reduce climate change impacts like flooding and drought. Programs and funding are offered that encourage water storage and infiltration, improved soil health, improved water quality, and sustaining biodiversity in natural areas. We have a local GROW committee that works with the farmers in our watershed to develop projects that work for their operations, said Wadney White, manager of Whitemud Watershed District. Many of these projects provide ecological services that benefit the entire watershed. Our programming is designed to keep natural areas intact that are at risk of being converted to cultivated cropland, said Stephanie Krischuk, Grow Program Coordinator for the White Mud Watershed. Climate change risks to farmers and watersheds can be lowered by protecting or restoring natural areas. Forest, grasslands, wetlands, pasturelands, and riparian areas have tremendous capacity to moderate the impacts of storms. Our Grow programs pay incentives to conserve, not drain, temporary wetlands on cultivated cropland, and to keep forested areas on the landscape, said Stephanie. Our programming also includes funding to restore grasslands, plant cover crops, and forage to protect soils, restore wetlands for water storage, and plant trees. Grow programming with producers is voluntary. 14 watershed districts across Manitoba are in partnership with the Grow Trust program. They all offer programs and funding to support sustainable agricultural practices that will keep farms to reduce risks from extreme weather in the future. Contact your local watershed district for information. NARTA hosts a well preparation seminar submitted. On Wednesday, May 3rd, the Neepawa and Area Retired Teachers Association, NARTA, sponsored a seminar at the Neepawa Public Library. NARTA President Joan Rink introduced speaker Joe Bowman, who spoke on the perils and pitfalls possible when preparing a will. She explored the problems an executor can have if these before documents are not well prepared, including, among other things, financial inheritance, property concerns, and a variety of other assets. A financial advisor and a lawyer were present to answer any questions pertaining to their expertise. As well, there were door prizes for the day provided by Ms. Bowman. Evaluation sheets indicated that the presentation was well received and did make audience members more aware of what is necessary in the form of paperwork and preparation upon one's passing. There were good suggestions as to avenues one should proceed upon and resources to consult to simplify the passing of one's estate and holdings to one's beneficiaries. A special thanks to Michelle Ferguson of Hand for helping with the advertising of this event. Erickson Airport paving to proceed. Additional funds still needed. Submitted. At long last, the Erickson Airport paving project has been given the green light by Clan William Erickson Council, with construction to take place in 2023. The project was identified as a priority in 2018 after a payment condition assessment showed that all paved surfaces were approaching failure and aircraft were at risk of being damaged. Since then, the municipality has been engaged in a virtual tug-of-war trying to boost federal and provincial grant funding for the project in a time of extreme inflation. The municipality received a grant in 2021 from the Federal Provincial Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program, ICIP, totaling 93.3% of an initial project budget of $1,417,565, with the remaining 6.7% to be paid by municipal borrowing. Unfortunately, the rise in energy prices in 2022 led to the cost of asphalt soaring well above the initial budgeted amount. The municipality tendered the project in the fall of 2022, and the low bid was $2.28 million. Without additional funding available, the municipality proposed to reduce costs by shortening the runway and removing the taxiway and apron from the project. Rather than accept the reduced scope, the contractor opted to withdraw their bid, and the municipality was forced to re-tender the project in the winter of 2023. In the meantime, good news came from the federal government, as it was apparent that the ICIP projects across the country were finding it impossible to proceed in this time of inflation. The municipality was informed that they could now use the Canada Community Building Fund, CCBF, formerly known as the Gas Tax Refund, to increase the federal contribution above and beyond the amount in the ICIP grant. We were very happy to receive this additional flexibility with the federal funding, as it allowed us the ability to move ahead even in the face of adversity, said Victor Brania at Clan William Erickson's Reeve. Infrastructure improvements like this are never free, but without being able to use the CCBF money, it would have been completely unaffordable, and that would have meant wasting the once-in-a-lifetime ICIP grant. Inflation continues to impact the project, and retendering with reduced scope resulted in a low bid of $1,908,358. After adopting their annual financial plan, the municipality voted to accept the bid using a combination of ICIP and CCBF grants, airport and general reserve funds, and a borrowing of $100,000. While Branick is happy with this project finally going ahead, there are still funds needed to increase the paved area to what was originally planned. We are going to need over $400,000 to increase the runway's length to the original 3,000 feet and pave the taxiway, Branick said. We are optimistic that this is possible as we have applied for a $300,000 grant from the Building Sustainable Communities program. We also know that there are many community stakeholders who want to support this project, and that's why we are going to be issuing charitable tax receipts for donations to the project. One of the community stakeholders that has pledged support for the airport is the Elkhorn Resort and Conference Center, promising to top up every donation received by 20% up to the total donation goal of $105,000. This is a tremendous contribution by a local business, said Branick. It highlights that the airport serves the wider region, not only our municipality. From tourism to agriculture to emergency services like STARS helicopters, this airport is valuable. And you never know when you're going to need it or benefit from it. We hope that more members of the broader community, stakeholders who may not necessarily pay taxes in our municipality, will come forward and provide assistance so that we can continue to operate the service. And the Neepawa Titans launched season ticket sales effort. Among all the new player signings and the addition of staff at the head office at the Neepawa Titans Junior A Hockey Club is forging ahead with plans for the 23-24 season. Season tickets are now on sale for $140 for the 28 home games. For a limited time until Father's Day on June 18th, the purchase price includes a $40 coupon that can be used to purchase team hats, clothing, and merchandise at the team store. Tickets can be purchased at the Titan sales office in the Neepawa Banner and Press or by calling 1-431-351-2274 or emailing Neepawa Titans Marketing at gmail.com. Neepawa Titans Vice President Jamie Denbo said, "The team is doing a lot of things to restructure the team in order to set ourselves up for the success we experienced in the 1990s. As such, we are offering 1990s pricing on our tickets. We want to offer our fans a great value for their support. The season ticket price is a very economical point, and the team store coupon is a limited time bonus we are offering our fans." And a successful showcase of a community. Gladstone Chamber hosts a trade show by Ken Waddell. Saturday, May 6th was a bright sunny day, perfect for the Gladstone and Area Chamber of Commerce Trade Show Community Expo, held at Stride Hall and the Norma Moore Memorial Arena. The show featured many businesses and community displays. The areas and the open areas featured ATV vehicles and many agricultural and recreational related vehicles. The hall was packed with exhibits featuring various services available in Gladstone and from around the region. There was even a table of delicious fudge. And the Gladstone Pie Baking Contest was well received. A popular event at the Gladstone and Area Chamber of Commerce Trade Show Community Expo was the Pie Baking Contest. Winners were left to right. First place, Lois Lees, cherry pie. Second place, Karen Ferguson, pumpkin pie. And third place, Barb Grumpelt, Saskatoon pie. It looked like a lot of pie lovers were made happy by the number of pieces that were being sold. And pictured on the bottom, catcher Samuel Kuntz, number 3 of the William Morton Warriors, tags out a member of the Neepawa Tigers baseball team with the play at the plate during the game on Tuesday, May 9th. This play helped to ensure the Warriors were able to hold on to an 8-5 win and improve their record to a perfect 3-0 on the year. Meanwhile, Neepawa has fallen to 0-2. And Banner Press, Home and Garden. Private backyards are now go-to spaces for recreation and entertainment and great places to recharge the body and mind. One ripple effect of the COVID-19 pandemic was more time spent outdoors, even if it was predominantly on one's own property. One poll, in conjunction with the lawn care company True Green, surveyed 2,000 American homeowners and found participants spent 14 hours outside every week in 2021, which was 3 hours more than prior to the pandemic. In addition, respondents admitted that the time spent outdoors was therapeutic. A separate survey conducted for the International Casual Furnishing Association found that people now spend more time relaxing, gardening, exercising, dining, and entertaining outside than in years past. Though COVID-19 may no longer dominate headlines, the desire to enjoy outdoor spaces has not waned. While enjoying outdoor living areas, homeowners can do all they can to make these spaces comfortable and welcoming. The following are some good starting points. Get all lit up. Outdoor spaces can be enjoyed no matter the hour when there is ample lighting. That could be why the International Casual Furnishings Association reports that those who plan to renovate their outdoor spaces list outdoor lighting as a priority. Outdoor lighting not only sheds light on entertaining spaces, but also makes spaces safer and more secure. Increase privacy. No matter how friendly homeowners are with their neighbors, there comes a time when privacy is paramount. Fencing, whether it is wood or vinyl, or even a natural fence made from closely planted hedges, can ensure residents feel comfortably venturing outside to swim, take a cat nap, or even stargaze in private. Address the elements. Homeowners should note the direction their garden faces and the typical daily conditions of the space. For example, a yard that faces southwest may get plenty of strong sun during the day, requiring the addition of shade trees, covered patios, or arbors to cut down on the glare and heat. If the yard is often hit by winds, trees or bushes planted strategically as windbreaks can help. Sit comfortably. High-quality, comfortable seating increases the likelihood that homeowners will want to stay in their outdoor spaces. A deep seating set complete with plush chairs, outdoor sofa, or love seat and chase lounge chairs gives people more opportunity to sit and stay a while. Bite back at bugs. Homeowners may want to consider using a professional exterminator to get rid of ticks, mosquitoes, and other nuisance insects from the outdoor spaces. As people spend more time enjoying their properties, they can consider the many ways to make outdoor living spaces more comfortable. And did you know? A joint study from researchers at the University of Alabama and the University of Texas found that curb appeal can have a significant impact when selling a home. That study, which examines Google Street View photos and sales data from more than 88,000 properties, found that homes with high curb appeal sold for an average of 7% more than similar homes with less inviting exteriors. The study also revealed that in slow markets with greater housing inventory, homes with high curb appeal sold for as much as 14% more than homes with uninviting exteriors. Homes defined as having high curb appeal for the study included those with features including well-maintained lawns and professional landscaping. And in memory of an adventurous spirit, Carberry fundraiser to honor the life of Kalina Green on May 27th by Casper Warren. Carberry and the surrounding area will be remembering an adventurous spirit on May 27th. On that day, all are invited to a fundraiser walk, run, and barbecue at the R.J. Wall Elementary School grounds at 3 p.m. in honor of Kalina Green. This memorial fundraiser is being organized by family members Melanie, Dawn, and Jera Green, along with Jenna Collin, Kalina's best friend, and with the assistance from event partners such as Town of Carberry, R.J. Wall School, and Westman Promotions. All funds raised are being donated to the Carberry Splash Park Committee, who is also an event sponsor. The pool in Carberry was a huge piece of Kalina's life, and with her love for swimming and water, we felt that she would want to see the town and the community benefit from having a splash park. So our overall goal is to help with the design and building process financially, Jera explained. Her son Boone did a really beautiful video of her swimming with him, going for his first swim. Jera added, "It's something positive as well. Her life was very impactful and very beautiful. So we want to do something positive for the community, when the community has had a lot of tragedy." Born and raised in Carberry, Kalina took up a variety of jobs throughout her years, including being employed at a grocery store, working at the pool as a lifeguard, instructor, and even running it for a couple of years, to helping out with yearly potato harvests. With a great love for recreation and adventure, Kalina would often be seen going out for a walk or run with her dog, or out enjoying a hike. She even ran a full Manitoba marathon in 2019. Her post-secondary education took her to Brandon, where she studied to become a teacher. This path initially took her to Minneota, then Melita, before following her heart back to her home, back to Carberry to teach R.J. Waugh Elementary School. Her students were a huge part of her being. She loved them. The stories she would tell about her students are no short of entertaining, and she'll bring them out to the farm, my parents' place, every year on a field trip for them to show them the animals, Jera enthused. We'd even set up an obstacle course on the farm for them. She just loved to share her home where she grew up with her students. Jera added, since Kalina's passed as well, the amount of support that we received from the community and the surrounding area, and honestly all of Westman, has been extremely positive. It's been kind of emotional, really, with the comments. It just kind of verifies how big of an impact she had. It is this life, passion, and love that the Green family hopes that everyone in the community Kalina's been a part of throughout Westman and the area as a whole, remembers on May 27th. Carberry really was her home. She spent her last few years of her life, and I think one of the most important pieces is to just try and remember the life she lived and not focus on the end, said Jera. That's a driving point for us. We don't want to focus on June 11th, the day she was taken from us, but rather on her birthday, being in May. It's on May 23rd. Anyone wishing to participate and collect pledges are encouraged to collect a pledge form by emailing carberrysplashpark@gmail.com or by picking one up at the Carberry business. Or if you wish to donate, pledges can be made via cash, check addressed to the town of Carberry, or e-transfer to town@townofcarberry.ca with charitable tax receipts for pledges of $20 or more. The Green family extends their sincere thanks to everyone for their support thus far. And Santa Clara baseball is back. Neepawa Cubs, 5 other teams to hit the field in 2023. By Owen Devereux. Baseball fans all across Westman have been excitedly awaiting the return of the Santa Clara Baseball League. This year, the senior AA circuit will feature 6 teams, including the returning Minnesota Mavericks, who are back in the league after a 5-year hiatus. Other clubs that will be back out in the diamond include the defending league champions, the Portage Padres, as well as the Austin A's, Carberry Royals, Plumas Pirates, and Neepawa Cubs. While the official schedule was not being publicly announced just yet, the expectation is that the season will begin in mid-May. The teams are currently expected to play a 15-game schedule, followed by a 3-round playoff format. The eventual winner of the Santa Clara League will then represent the league at the Senior AA Provincial Championship set for July. As for Neepawa's hometown team, the Cubs will be looking to improve upon the results from last year. Though the Cubs finished in first place overall for the regular season, they were knocked out of the playoffs early by the Plumas Pirates. The roster looking good. Neepawa Cubs coach Garrett Rempel said the returning core of veteran players remember the disappointment of last year and hoping to end this season on a more positive note. Our roster is looking good for this year, as we have our core group of players coming back that have lots of experience. We are also gaining quite a few new faces, some younger guys that are ready to come out and play ball, said Rempel. As for what they'll have out in the field this year, Rempel said they're feeling pretty good about their pitching rotation, which last year consisted of himself, Cole Krutkovich, Jordan Wickens, and Taylor Fletcher. Rempel added that the hope is for defense out on the field to be a strength for the club this summer. The first game of the season for the Cubs has been scheduled for Wednesday, May 17th in Minnesota against the Mavericks. Neepawa's homeowner, meanwhile, will be on Wednesday, May 24th versus the Austin A's. Opening pitch is set for 7 p.m. And the Neepawa Titans restructured the front office. And pictured on the left, Derek Pearson, the Neepawa Titans hockey operations assistant and trainer, and on the right, Zach Hicks, the Titans assistant coach and marketing manager. The Neepawa Titans are pleased to announce that Zach Hicks and Derek Pearson will both return to the organization for the 2023-24 season. Hicks will return as an assistant coach, but he has also added marketing manager to his title. Zach is a personable young man and extremely hard worker. We are looking forward to him continuing his work ethic in the area of marketing and coaching. He possesses leadership skills and the will to have good rapport with the community, said General Manager Head Coach Ken Pearson. Derek Pearson will continue in his role as hockey operations assistant trainer, but will now work closer with Hicks on the marketing. Derek has worn many hats for the team over the years and has always done what is best for the franchise when asked. I think his role is now more clearly defined for him, and we look forward to him and Zach improving the marketing of the Titans, said Ken Pearson. If you are interested in partnering with the Titans, please reach out to Zach at neepawatitans@gmail.com or Derek at neepawatitans.marketing@gmail.com. And there's a couple of obituaries here. Timothy Allen Elkey. Timothy Allen Elkey, surrounded by his family, passed away on May 5th, 2023 at the Health Sciences Center in Winnipeg, Manitoba at the age of 55. Tim was born on November 26, 1967 to Clifford and Jean Elkey. Tim was their second child. Tim grew up with his sister Tammy in Riverside for a few years, and then when Cliff was transferred to Amaranth for work, the family moved there, and Amaranth is where he called home for the rest of his life. When Tim and Tammy were small, they enjoyed a number of things, but hunting and fishing with his dad would remain one of his favorite pastimes for the rest of his life. Tim worked a few jobs in his adult life. He had his hands in many pots. Tim spent many years volunteering as a firefighter for the local fire department and was one of the founding members of the Amaranth department. He mowed grass for the town for many years, helped his dad mow at Silver Ridge Church, and even operated a tow truck for Isfield's Towing out of Dauphin. One of his passions in life was able to run over into business for him for a time, Tim's gun repair and accessories. He thoroughly enjoyed operating the business. The bulk of his adult life was spent managing Amaranth Pawn Shop and later the General Store. Everyone in the area who has ever had the pleasure of interacting with Tim will know what an amazing soul he was. If he could help, he would. On March 18, 1989, Tim met the love of his life, Georgina Bulio, and they were married on August 8, 1998, and spent many happy years together. Although they didn't have children of their own, they had 3 nieces and a nephew on Tim's side, which they considered theirs, and many nieces and nephews on Georgina's side that they loved very much. Even though he didn't have any human children of his own, he had many fur babies in his life. From the dogs, Chubby and Moocher and Sylvester, the cat, to Patch, Biscuit, Kong, Sadie, Snoopy, Bernice, Jack, and JJ, to name a few. If a stray showed up in his house, it never left hungry. Tim is survived by his parents, Cliff and Jean, his partner, Georgina, his sister, Tammy, her husband, Eric, nieces, Nicole, her children, Tanner, Brock, and Brinley, Amber, her partner, Eric, their son, Deacon, Kathleen, her partner, Leonard, their children, Dalton and Blake, and nephew, Robert, and his partner, Hope. A celebration of life for Tim will be held at the Amaranth Hall on June 3rd from 1 to 4 p.m. If anyone desires, donations can be made in Tim's behalf to the Amaranth Fire Department. And Patricia Jackson. It is with great sorrow that we announce the passing of Patricia Jackson, née Fisher, on April 27, 2023. She is survived by her husband of 60 years, Lionel Jackson, and their 7 children, Francis, Jackie, Doug, Terry, Debbie, Harvey, Rosie, Clayton, Shona, Joanne, Ian, Roxanne, Jody, and her 12 grandchildren, Devon and Cheryl, Marty, Brittany and Riley, Anya, Siobhan, Rhett, Simon, Hammer, Megan, Colby, Riley, Brooklyn, Macy, Austin, and great-grandchildren, Raylan, Hayden, and Oliver. Pat was born and raised on a farm between Stonewall and Argyle. She helped on the farm, loved to go dances with her dad, and enjoyed playing baseball as a back catcher, and was said to be quite good. She left home at the tender age of 16 to move to the big city, where she started a job at Eaton's. She also continued to play baseball in some city leagues. She later worked for MTS until she met the love of her life, Lionel, and married in 1962. They bought the family farm from Lionel's Uncle Pete, and they moved there in the spring of 1963, where they raised their family. Over the years, they had a variety of animals, including pigs, cows, all sorts of chickens, turkeys, cats, dogs, rabbits, and horses. They also farmed the land, and over the years grew a variety of crops. They did not have running water until 1975. That when she had to haul water from the creek for the house. Tough lady. 5 kids were in home at this time, and she only used cloth diapers. So you can imagine how much work this was. In her 40s, she began to paint ceramics, and you could see these all over the gardens, which she took great pride in, and was admired by all that drove by. Pat did a lot of beautiful drawings with pastels and charcoal. She loved her flower beds, gardening, and canned all fall, preparing for the winter. She loved to cook and had many, many recipes that were delicious and enjoyed by family and the company. There were always many visitors, and if you went for coffee, there was cake or cookies that was pulled out to enjoy. She was like a mother to many and had lots of love to give. Pat was a straight shooter, and if asked, she would tell you what she thought, never mincing her words. She had many friends and loved to chat on the phone. She had an uncanny memory for phone numbers, a talent she held until her finite moments. Pat had struggled with many health issues over the past 15 years, and she took all of them with amazingly positive attitude, never a complaint on her lips. She was truly amazing and had one of the biggest hearts. She was very loved and will be missed by many. A funeral mass for Pat was celebrated on Saturday, May 6th, at Our Lady of the Nativity Roman Catholic Church in McCreary. Father Patrick Neufeld celebrated the Mass with interment following in the McCreary Roman Catholic Cemetery in McCreary. Should friends so desire, donations of memory of Pat may be made to Diabetes Canada. And the Neepawa Rotary Club's used book sale draws in readers of all ages. The Neepawa Rotary Club's used book sale officially began on Monday, May 8th, and continued each day from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. until Friday, May 12th. The sale was at the former Chalet Carpets building on Highway 16, just across from Home Hardware. Readers of a variety of ages came to the sale to look for interesting new-to-them books. Above, with rows and rows of books available, the browsers had a variety of options and genres to choose from. Right? These young readers got up close to look at some of the available books as well. Looks like it was quite an adventure. And finally, a reminder, the Neepawa District Chamber of Commerce Chamber Fair will be held in Neepawa on Friday, May 26th, Saturday, May 27th, and Sunday, May 28th. Lots of adventures for everyone. And thank you for watching the news today, Friday, May 12th, 2023. I hope you enjoyed it.